The Nexari ruled the stars for thousands of years. No species had ever defeated them. These reptilian conquerors had sharp senses, natural armor, and cruel instincts that made them perfect predators. In the Grand Council chamber on their homeworld, Commander Take listened to reports about a new planet called Earth. "Another world for us to take," said Elder Rim, his mandibles clicking with excitement. Take studied the information. "These humans seem different. They adapt quickly." "All species adapt," Elder Rim said dismissively. "None adapt fast enough to beat us." The council sent Take with a fleet to check Earth and begin the usual process of conquest. As his ships left, Take felt uneasy about these humans. The Nexari fleet arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system. Following their normal plan, they attacked a human outpost on Europa Moon to show their power. Captain Sun of Earth's Defense Force hadn't expected aliens, but she was ready for emergencies. When the Nexari destroyed the Europa station, she acted quickly and cleverly. She used mining ships as decoys while hiding her fighting ships behind Ganymede Moon. The Nexari, following their usual attack pattern, fell into her trap. "This is impossible," Commander Take hissed as 3 of his ships exploded. Never before had a new species damaged a Nexari fleet during first contact. He ordered his ships to retreat, feeling angry and shocked. "We will come back with our full military power." On Earth, Captain Sun sent a message to headquarters, "We've pushed them back for now, but they'll return. And next time, they won't underestimate us." Earth's nations united as never before. Former enemies shared resources and knowledge to prepare for the coming attack. In a laboratory under Sol, Professor Han examined Nexari technology from the battle debris. "Their ships are advanced, but we can understand them," he told Earth's military leaders. "More importantly, I found a weakness in their biology." The professor held up a small container. "This common Earth substance disrupts their brain function. It won't kill them in small amounts, but it will disable them." Admiral Park, the new leader of Earth's Defense Force, nodded seriously. "We'll need every advantage. Our scouts report the Nexari are gathering their main battle fleet." Then, Earth received an unexpected message. The face on the screen was clearly alien, delicate with glowing skin. "I am Nara of the Ithrani," the being said. "Like many others, the Nexari conquered our world long ago. We've watched you fight back with hope. If you will fight, you won't fight alone." For the first time, humans realized they might have friends among the stars. The Nexari returned with a huge force, attacking many human colonies at once. They expected quick surrender but found prepared resistance. Commander Take watched in frustration as human tactics confused their prediction computers. "They should have given up by now," he growled to his officers. "No species can fight this hard for so long." But humans had evolved as persistent hunters who could keep going long after other species would collapse from tiredness. What the Nexari saw as weakness, human physical fragility, was overcome with creativity and determination. On the front lines, Colonel Kim's soldiers used the substance Professor Han had discovered, causing confusion in Nexari ranks. Meanwhile, Admiral Park executed a bold plan. While the Nexari focused on Earth, she led a strike force directly toward the Nexari homeworld. At the same time, throughout Nexari territory, conquered species began rebelling, inspired by humanity's example. The once invincible empire found itself fighting everywhere at once for the first time ever. The final battle happened in orbit around the Nexari homeworld. Admiral Park's fleet, joined by ships from the Ithrani and other rebel species, faced the last Nexari defense line. Commander Take prepared for his final stand, expecting the humans to be as ruthless as his species had always been. Instead, Admiral Park opened communications. "We don't want to destroy your species, Commander. We just want to end your empire and free all thinking beings. Surrender, and we can build something better together." This idea was completely foreign to the Nexari worldview. Predators did not show mercy. Yet facing extinction, many Nexari realized their old ways had reached their limit. A younger generation, led by Take's own daughter, quickly took control from the old council. 6 months later, representatives from 27 species gathered to sign the new Galactic Confederation Agreement. Admiral Park and former Commander Take, now Ambassador Take, stood side by side. Your species could have wiped us out, Take said quietly. And become just like you were? Admiral Park smiled. Humans have been predators too, in our history. We learned that working together builds more than conquering ever could. Looking at the gathered delegates, both understood a simple truth: the galaxy had fundamentally changed. The age of predators had ended not with extinction, but with evolution. The Nexari ruled the stars with an iron grip. They were tall, scaled beings with sharp teeth and eyes that could see in darkness. For thousands of years, they conquered every species they found. Their bodies were perfect for hunting: strong muscles, thick skin, and keen senses that could detect fear. In the Grand Council chamber on their home planet, light filtered through crystal windows onto 7 elder Nexari. They sat on high thrones carved from the bones of extinct enemies. Commander Take stood before them, his posture straight and proud. The Outer Scouts have found a new world, said Elder Rim, the oldest council member. His scales had faded to gray with age, but his eyes remained sharp. It circles a yellow star at the edge of the western spiral. Another hunting ground, said another elder, licking her teeth. What creatures live there? A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed a blue-green planet with white clouds swirling across its surface. They call themselves humans, Elder Rim said. They have only recently discovered space travel. Their weapons are primitive. Their bodies are soft, with no natural protection. Commander Take studied the rotating image. Something about this planet made his instincts prickle. Have we observed their behavior patterns? Their warfare? They fight among themselves constantly, Elder Rim said with amusement. They divide into groups based on invisible boundaries. They are physically weak. Their only advantage is their numbers. The council members clicked their claws against their thrones, a sound of Nexari laughter. But Take noticed something in the data scrolling beside the hologram. They adapt quickly, he said. Their technology has advanced more in the last century than most species develop in 1,000 years. All prey adapts, Elder Rim dismissed with a wave of his clawed hand. None adapt quickly enough to challenge us. We have conquered 57 species across 23 star systems. These humans will be no different. The council voted unanimously. Commander Take would take a scout fleet to assess Earth and begin the standard conquest process. The Nexari had perfected their approach over millennia. First, destroy an outlying settlement to demonstrate power. Second, demand surrender. Third, if refused, systematically destroy military centers until resistance collapsed. Take left the council chamber with the taste of unease in his mouth. As he walked to the military headquarters, he passed the great trophy hall where the weapons and artifacts of conquered species lined the walls. Soon, human items would join this collection. At the spaceport, his personal guard waited for him, 12 elite warriors who had served him in 3 previous conquests. Sub-Commander Dole approached and bowed his head. The fleet is ready, Commander. 6 battleships, each carrying 200 warriors. Increase the force, Take ordered. Add 4 more battleships. Dole's eye ridges rose in surprise. Commander? For a primitive species? A precaution, Take said. He couldn't explain his feeling, even to himself. In all his years of conquest, he had never felt this strange hesitation. That night, before departure, Take visited the prophecy pools. The sacred waters were said to reveal glimpses of future hunts. No commander left for a major conquest without consulting them. The ancient priest who tended the pools was nearly blind, his scales dull with extreme age. You fear this hunt, the priest said as he mixed sacred salts into the glowing water. I fear nothing, Take responded automatically. The priest made a rasping sound, the equivalent of a knowing smile. Then you will learn fear. Look. Take gazed into the swirling waters. Most commanders saw visions of victory, enemy worlds burning, new slaves kneeling. But Take saw something different. He saw Nexari ships falling from the sky. He saw humans standing tall, not cowering. And in the center of the vision, he saw a human warrior looking directly at him without fear. When the vision faded, Take stepped back, his heart racing. "What does it mean?" he demanded. The priest tilted his ancient head. "The waters show possibilities, not certainties. Perhaps these humans are different. Perhaps they will not be prey." "All species are prey to the Nexari," Take said firmly, but doubt had taken root in his mind. The next day, his expanded fleet left orbit. As the ships accelerated toward the jump point that would take them to Earth, Take watched his homeworld shrink behind them. For the first time in his long career, he wondered if all his warriors would return from this hunt. He shook off the feeling. The council was right. Humans would fall like all others before them. The Nexari were the apex predators of the galaxy. Nothing could challenge their dominance. Earth changed overnight after the alien attack. Nations that had fought for centuries now worked together. The threat from space made old human conflicts seem small and foolish. In an underground laboratory beneath Seoul, Professor Han hadn't slept in 3 days. His eyes were red-rimmed as he studied pieces of Nexari technology recovered from the battle debris near Jupiter. Other scientists worked around him, each focused on understanding different aspects of the alien technology. "Their power systems are unlike anything we've built," Professor Han told the military officers watching his work. "But they follow principles we can understand. Given time, we can adapt this knowledge." "Time is what we don't have," said Admiral Park, a stern woman who had been appointed to lead Earth's unified defense forces. "Our long-range telescopes show Nexari reinforcements gathering. We estimate 3 months before they return." Professor Han nodded grimly. He pushed aside the power cell he had been studying and lifted a small container. Inside was a piece of scaled tissue, a fragment of a Nexari warrior found floating among the battle debris. "I may have discovered something more immediately useful," he said. "The Nexari biology has a strange reaction to this." He held up a vial of clear liquid. "What is it?" asked Admiral Park. "A common Earth compound. When exposed to even small amounts, the Nexari neural pathways become temporarily disrupted. Not lethal, but completely incapacitating." For the first time in days, Admiral Park smiled. "A weapon we can use." All across Earth, factories that once made cars now built spacecraft. Farmers planted extra crops to build food reserves. Military bases filled with new recruits from every nation. Humanity prepared for war like never before. Captain Sun, now promoted to colonel for her quick thinking during the first battle, trained pilots to use the new tactics she had developed. "The Nexari expect direct attacks," she explained to her squadrons. "They don't understand deception or misdirection. We will use this against them." In orbit, construction crews worked day and night to build defensive platforms around Earth. Engineers adapted the fragments of Nexari technology to strengthen Earth's weapons. Everyone worked with desperate energy, knowing their survival depended on it. Then came an unexpected development. At a remote listening station in the Australian outback, Communications Officer Gene was about to end his shift when his equipment detected a strange signal. It wasn't coming from the direction of Nexari space. It was coming from a completely different part of the galaxy. When he decoded the message, his hands trembled so badly he had to call his supervisor. 24 hours later, Admiral Park and Earth's Defense Council gathered to view the message. On the screen appeared a being unlike the Nexari. This creature had delicate features and skin that seemed to glow softly from within. "I am Nara of the Ithrani," the alien said in carefully practiced human language. "Like many others, our world was conquered by the Nexari generations ago. We have watched your resistance with great interest and hope." The room was completely silent as the message continued. "You are the first species to successfully defend against a Nexari first contact attack. This gives hope to many who live under their rule. If you continue to resist, know that you will not stand alone. Many eyes watch for your success." The message included technical data, Nexari fleet movements, their tactical weaknesses, and communication frequencies. It ended with a simple statement: "Prepare well, brave humans. The Nexari have never known defeat, which makes them vulnerable to it." After the message ended, Admiral Park turned to her stunned council. It seems we have allies we never knew existed. Professor Han studied the technical data. This information confirms my research and adds details we couldn't have discovered on our own. With this, we can develop more effective countermeasures. But can we trust them? Asked one council member. This could be a Nexari trick. Admiral Park considered this. The Nexari don't seem the type to use trickery. They rely on overwhelming force. Besides, this information matches what we've learned independently. Earth's preparations gained new purpose with this knowledge. They were not just fighting for themselves, but potentially for many enslaved species across the galaxy. In his laboratory, Professor Han worked with renewed energy. His team developed weapons that could deliver the neural disrupting compound directly into Nexari ships' ventilation systems. Engineers designed shields to resist the specific frequencies of Nexari weapons. 3 months passed quickly. Earth's defenses grew stronger each day, but would it be enough? The question haunted Admiral Park as she reviewed their battle plans. Then came the news they had been dreading. The long-range telescopes detected movement. A massive fleet, at least 50 Nexari battleships, had entered the outer solar system. Admiral Park gathered her commanders. This is the moment that will decide humanity's future, she told them. We have one advantage the Nexari will never understand: we're not just fighting for survival. We're fighting for freedom, ours and others across the stars. The final preparations began. Earth's first interstellar war was about to begin. The Nexari attack began exactly as Earth's strategists had predicted. 50 massive battleships entered the solar system in a wedge formation, heading directly toward the Mars colony. Commander Take led from the front, his flagship larger than any vessel humans had ever built. The humans have had time to prepare, Sub-Commander Dole observed as their sensors detected defensive positions around Mars and Earth. But their technology remains primitive compared to ours. Commander Take wasn't so confident. The memory of his previous defeats still burned in his mind. Do not underestimate them again. Attack pattern Sigma 3. Target their Mars colony first. The Nexari ships accelerated toward Mars, weapons charging. They expected the humans to concentrate their defense around their home planet. Taking Mars would give them a forward base for the final assault on Earth. But Admiral Park had studied the information from their Ithrani allies carefully. She knew the Nexari thought in terms of territory and conquest, taking ground before moving forward. She had different plans. Begin Operation Scattered Response, she ordered from her command center on Earth's moon. Instead of meeting the Nexari head-on at Mars, Earth's ships split into small, fast-moving squadrons. Some headed toward the Nexari fleet as expected, but others disappeared behind moons or into asteroid fields. Commander Take watched with confusion as the human forces seemed to fragment rather than unite against his advance. What are they doing? This defies all combat logic. The Mars colony appeared virtually undefended as the Nexari fleet approached. Commander Take sensed a trap but couldn't determine its nature. He ordered his ships to maintain formation and proceed with caution. Suddenly, attacks came from multiple directions. Small human vessels emerged from hiding places throughout the solar system, targeting specific vulnerabilities on the Nexari ships. They didn't try to destroy the massive battleships, they focused on disrupting their sensors, weapons, and communication systems. They're everywhere. Sub-Commander Dole shouted as warning signals flashed across the command deck. Our rear guard reports attacks near Jupiter. Our forward scouts are under fire near Venus. Colonel Sun led one of these attack squadrons. Her ships darted between 2 Nexari battleships, launching specialized missiles that attached to their hulls. These weren't explosive weapons, they released Professor Han's neural disrupting compound directly into the ship's ventilation systems. Inside the targeted Nexari vessels, warriors suddenly collapsed, their nervous systems overwhelmed. Some ships drifted out of formation as their crews became incapacitated. Commander Take watched in growing fury as his perfect formation broke apart. How are they doing this? They should have exhausted themselves by now. What he didn't understand was human endurance. The Nexari evolved as ambush predators, designed for short bursts of incredible strength and speed. Humans evolved as persistence hunters who could maintain effort long after other species would collapse from exhaustion. As the battle entered its second day with no pause, the Nexari warriors grew fatigued. The humans, working in shifts, maintained constant pressure. "We've lost contact with the 8th Division," reported a tired Nexari officer. "4 battleships are completely disabled." Commander Take slammed his fist against his command console. "Focus all remaining ships on Earth. We will punish these creatures for their resistance." But as the remaining Nexari ships regrouped and headed toward Earth, Admiral Park unveiled her masterstroke. The defensive platforms around Earth weren't just weapon systems, they were broadcasting powerful signals on frequencies the Athrani had identified as triggering primal fear responses in Nexari brains. As Take's fleet approached Earth, his warriors began experiencing unexplainable terror. Many became paralyzed, unable to perform their duties as ancient instincts overrode their training. "What is happening to our warriors?" Take demanded, feeling the edge of fear himself though he fought against it. Meanwhile, Admiral Park had kept her strongest ships in reserve. As the Nexari fleet faltered near Earth, she launched her counterattack. "All ships, converge now," she ordered calmly. "Target their flagship." Commander Take watched in disbelief as human vessels appeared from behind Earth's moon, moving with coordinated precision his scattered fleet could no longer match. For the first time in his long life, he felt something no Nexari commander had experienced in thousands of years, the real possibility of defeat. "Prepare for direct confrontation," he ordered, his voice betraying his exhaustion. But many of his ships couldn't respond, their crews incapacitated or fighting against inexplicable terror. As Admiral Park's ships closed in on his flagship, Take received an unexpected transmission from Nexari space. The message was brief but shocking: rebellions had erupted across 3 Nexari-controlled systems. Conquered species, somehow learning of the humans' resistance, had begun their own uprisings. For the first time in the history of their empire, the Nexari were fighting a war on multiple fronts. Commander Take faced an impossible decision: continue a failing assault on Earth or return to help suppress the growing rebellion across Nexari territory. As human ships surrounded his damaged flagship, Take made the most difficult order of his career: "All vessels, prepare for emergency retreat." The grand chamber of the Nexari High Council had never been so quiet. Commander Take stood before the 7 elders, his posture rigid despite his wounds. Behind him, the doors remained open, a breach of ancient protocol, but necessary for what was about to happen. "You have failed," Elder Rim said, his voice cold with fury. "No Nexari commander has ever retreated from conquest." Commander Take did not lower his gaze. "These humans are unlike any species we have encountered. They do not fight as prey should fight." The council chamber's light dimmed as reports flooded in from across Nexari space. Rebellions had spread to 12 systems now. The Athrani had broken their chains first, then the Volari, then others. The empire built over thousands of years was crumbling in a matter of weeks. "We must gather our remaining fleets," Elder Rim declared. "Crush these rebellions and then return to destroy these humans completely." But before anyone could respond, a new sound filled the chamber: the hum of engines. Through the open doors, shadows appeared. Admiral Park of Earth walked into the Nexari Council chamber, flanked by representatives of 3 formerly enslaved species. Behind them came armored human soldiers. "How dare you enter this sacred place?" Elder Rim hissed, rising from his throne. Admiral Park looked around the chamber calmly. Her small team had infiltrated the Nexari homeworld using technology reverse-engineered from captured ships, combined with stealth methods provided by rebel Athrani. "I come with an offer," she said simply. "One you have never given to others, but which we extend to you now." Commander Take watched the human admiral with a mixture of hatred and reluctant respect. During the final battle near Earth, her forces had surrounded his flagship but had not destroyed it. Instead, they had offered him passage back to Nexari space, with a message to deliver. "We do not seek your extinction," Admiral Park continued, addressing the council. "We seek an end to the Nexari dominion and freedom for all intelligent beings. You can keep your homeworld and live in peace, or you can continue fighting and lose everything." Elder Rim's scales darkened with rage. "You speak of peace while threatening us?" Nexari do not surrender. We are the apex predators of the galaxy. Every predator must adapt or die, said a new voice. All heads turned to see a young female Nexari enter the chamber. Take's daughter, Mina, walked forward with several younger Nexari following her. They represented a generation that had begun questioning the old ways even before the human encounter. Father, she said, looking at Commander Take. You have seen these humans fight. Tell the council the truth of what you witnessed. Take looked at his daughter, then at the elders. They could have destroyed my fleet completely. They could have bombarded our homeworld from orbit. Instead, they showed restraint, something we have never done. Weakness, spat Elder Rim. Strength, corrected Mina. The strength to choose a better path. What happened next would be recorded as the Nexari Reformation. As Admiral Park's team watched, Mina and her followers challenged the Council's authority directly, something unprecedented in Nexari history. When Elder Rim ordered the guards to arrest them, the guards did not move. The Empire had already begun to change. 6 Earth months later, representatives from 27 species gathered in a neutral space station to sign the Galactic Confederation Charter. The station orbited a star visible from all their homeworlds, a physical reminder of their new connection. Admiral Park, now serving as Earth's first galactic ambassador, stood beside Mina, who led the reformed Nexari government. Around them, species that had once been predator and prey now spoke as equals. Your species could have destroyed us, Take said quietly to Admiral Park. The former commander now served as an advisor to his daughter's government. Many among your people wanted to. And become just like you were? Admiral Park smiled. Humans have been predators too, in our history. We've fought wars that nearly destroyed our world. We learned that cooperation builds more than conquest ever could. In the years that followed, the galaxy transformed. The Nexari, with their natural strengths, became guardians of the new confederation rather than its conquerors. Their warrior instincts found purpose in protection instead of domination. Human adaptability and innovation spread throughout known space. The Athrani shared their remarkable medical knowledge, once hoarded by their Nexari overlords. Other species contributed unique perspectives and technologies. Children born on all worlds learned a different history than their parents had lived. They learned that the turning point came when prey species proved they were not prey at all, and when predators learned they could be something more than hunters. On the anniversary of first contact, Commander Take and Admiral Park watched their grandchildren play together. The young Nexari and human had become friends despite their different biology, a sight unimaginable just a few years earlier. Did you know it would end this way? Take asked. When you chose not to destroy us? Admiral Park watched the children. No. We only knew we had to try a different path. That's what makes us human, we always believe tomorrow can be better than today. Looking at the starfield visible through the station's viewport, both leaders understood a simple truth: the galaxy had fundamentally changed. The age of predators had ended not with extinction, but with evolution.